effects of the subsidiary alliance to the Britishers. It was advantageous to the Britishers and it was disadvantageous to the Indian rulers, right? We saw how it was advantageous to the Britishers. Somebody's mic has been unmuted. Please mute. Please mute. Just check who's that student. Aditya. It's Aditya. And even here.
Ma'am,
Mute yourself. All right. Children, please mute yourself. So advantages for the Britishers of the subsidiary alliance was that, yesterday I'll just revise quickly so that you remember. The Britishers were able to maintain large armies because of the subsidiary alliance with the expense of the Indian rulers. Secondly, the Britishers were able to acquire most of the valuable territories because of the subsidiary payment. And thirdly, the Britishers got rid of these European rivals, especially the French people, because in the subsidiary alliance there was a condition that, you know, the Indian rulers will exclude all the other Europeans from his court. All right. And the fourth point is the Britishers control the foreign policies of the subsidiary states. So these were all the advantages which the Britishers were able to enjoy because of the subsidiary alliance. Now today we will see and we will understand what are the disadvantages for the Indian rulers. The subsidiary alliance had disastrous effects on the Indian states. First, underline the word disastrous. Thank you. Next, the Indian rulers of the subsidiary states lost their independence. They virtually became puppets in the hands of the British. This is very important. The Indian rulers now became what? Puppets in the hands of the Britishers. Okay, they lost their independence and became puppets in the hands of the Britishers. Okay, just because of this subsidiary alliance system. Second disadvantage to the Indian rulers was that the payment of huge subsidies led to a heavy drain on their resources, okay, and impoverishment and decay of the states. The administration completely collapsed, okay. So just underline, it led to heavy drain on their resources, decay of the states, and administration collapsed, okay. So definitely, why they were it led to a heavy drain, because these Indian rulers had to maintain the British troops. They had to give them salaries as well. So definitely it led to a heavy drain of the resources. Let's see what is the third disadvantage. When the administration collapsed, the British used it as an excuse for annexing the kingdom on the grounds of misgovernment. Very nice. All right. So when the entire administration process collapsed under the rule of the Indian rulers, so what did the Britishers do? They started annexing the kingdom. Okay. On what basis? On the basis that, okay, now there's so much of misgovernment. Okay, maladministration in this particular province. So you give us the right, we will make sure that we handle the situation. We bring the administrative process, or we make the administration very smooth. So on that basis, they started annexing the kingdoms. All right, that was the third disadvantage to the Indian rulers. Let's see what is the fourth disadvantages. The Indian rulers were fully protected by the British against internal as well as external enemies. They lost interest in the welfare of the people, okay, and neglected them as they were no longer afraid of revolts. The people suffered untold miseries under irresponsible and oppressive rulers. Okay, so underline this: fully protected the internal and external enemies. Okay, now we all know under the subsidiary alliance system, the condition was that only that the Britishers are going to completely protect. Now, when this system was given, through this system, what had happened? The Britishers focused only on protection. They completely neglected the people, and therefore people suffered miseries. Okay, don't underline that. No longer afraid of revolts. Underline this: people suffered untold miseries because of the oppressive rulers. This is important. Okay. So this is how, you know, it not only affected the Indian ruler, but it also affected the common people who belong to that territories. All right, because the Britishers hardly paid any attention to the welfare of the people. What is the fifth disadvantage to the Indian rulers? The subsidiary alliance aided the British in subjugating the powerful kingdom of Marathas. This was very important. So because of the subsidiary alliance system, the Britishers could reach, or you can say could target, even the powerful kingdom of the Marathas. Why? Because of the subsidiary system, Britishers were gradually becoming stronger and stronger, isn't it? They were able to control the territory now in a legal way because they had a legal document through subsidiary alliance. All right, so these were all the disadvantages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you all understood the disadvantage, children?
Ma'am, can you explain the second last point, the fourth point again?
Fourth point is the Indian rulers, as through the subsidiary alliance, the Indian rulers, what it was said that the Indian rulers will be protected with the internal as well as the external armies, right? Now, so Britishers focused only on the protection. They did not pay any attention to the welfare of the people. And therefore, what had happened, most of the people had to suffer a lot of miseries because of these oppressive rulers. All right. Now,
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you all understood all 5 points?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let us brief it before we go on to the next topic. Who will tell me what are the disadvantages of the Indian rulers because of the subsidiary alliance? You all can raise your hands.
Ma'am, can I say one?
Yes, Shreyas. Yes, Shreyas.
Ma'am, the one was like the Indian ruler lost the independence as the British had the power to control their welfare.
Correct.
And
correct.
so, in other words, we can say that they were the puppet rulers of
in the hands of the Britishers. Yes, very good, very good. Yes,
may I tell the next? Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, due to the subsidiary alliance, these British were successful in removing, like subjugating the kingdom of the Marathas. And due to misgovernment, ma'am, now they had an excuse.
This is the second point which you told, that the Britishers were able to subjugate the powerful kingdom of Maratha. Second one. Okay, what is the third disadvantage? Who will give me the third disadvantage? Yes, Priyanshu.
Yes, ma'am. The third was that the Indian rulers were no longer afraid of revolts, so because that the British troops protected them from external and internal enemies, and also because of that they neglected and also lost interest in the welfare of the people, and the people, as a result of this, the people suffered untold miseries under those irresponsible and oppressive
rulers. Okay, so very good. So this was the third disadvantage. Fourth disadvantage, who will tell me? Children, raise your hands virtually. Physically, if you all are raising your hands, I won't be able to see you all. Yes, Raj, you will give me the fourth disadvantage.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, due to the Britishers, the administration of the Indian rulers collapsed. So the British used this for annexing territories and expanding their empire.
Yes, and they on what grounds they were annexing these territories?
They were annexing these territories on the grounds of misgovernment.
Very good, very good. So this is the fourth point. One last fifth point, who will tell? This is the most easiest one. Let's see who will be able to give me the last point. Yes, Vivan. Am I audible?
Yes,
ma'am, you are audible.
I think
Vivan
you are
not
audible. Yes, Shreyas, give me the last point. Last disadvantage.
Ma'am, the last disadvantage was of the administration. Ma'am, as we know that the British had in the Subsidiary alliance, they had a policy in which stated that the Maratha ruler had to pay for the troops. So because of which there was a heavy drain on their resources and there was a decaying of states.
Very
due
good.
to
Ma'am, are
which
you able to hear me?
collapsed.
Yes, and because of this, the administration had collapsed. Very good,
Ma'am,
Shreya.
are you able to hear me now?
Yes, you're audible now, but we've completed the answer. Okay, you can give
Okay,
answer to the
ma'am.
next topic.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I hope everybody understood the 5 disadvantages to the Indian
Yes,
rulers
ma'am.
and
Yes,
the
ma'am.
4 advantages to the Britishers.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now let us understand the next topic, that is the doctrine of lapse. Because before that, I just want you all to read from here, page 79, Lord Dalhousie's policies of expansion. We'll just see a little bit of background. Now we all know the background of it, that because of the subsidiary alliance, the Britishers were able to attack what? The powerful kingdom of the Marathas. So the other topics were related to the Maratha, annexation of the Maratha powers. But that's not there in your exam, just because it's on a virtual mode. So we'll just take doctrine of Lapse. So Lord Dalhousie's policy of expansion. Lord Dalhousie, the Governor General of India from 1848 to 56, adopted a number of methods to give the final touches to the work of empire building in India. All right. So please underline this. Lord Dalhousie, he was the Governor General of India, and he adopted various policies, various methods for what? To build an empire in India. Next page. He adopted various methods to build an empire in India. So now let us see what were the different methods which Lord Dalhousie took over to build the power or to build their own empire in the entire India. So the first one was war with Punjab. Second was doctrine of lapse, underline Satara, Jhansi and Nagpur. Third was annexation on the grounds of maladministration, or annexation of what? Annexation of Awadh. Okay, on the grounds of maladministration. As we have studied earlier, Dalhousie subjugated the Sikhs in the Second Anglo-Sikh War and annexed Punjab in 1849. All right, so this was just an introduction for you all to that, from where this doctrine of lapse came. Okay, from where did it come? It comes from Lord Dalhousie. Okay, he was the one who brought this method with what intention? With the intention to expand his empire. All right, now we'll understand what exactly is this doctrine of lapse. All right, just a minute, give me a second. I'll just put on the charger. Yeah, so let's begin doctrine of lapse. Ready, everyone? Okay, I can see thumbs up. Good. The policy of doctrine of lapse was formulated by Lord Dalhousie. Please underline this. Who brought this doctrine of lapse? It was Lord Dalhousie. Okay. Why? As a peaceful way of annexing subordinate Indian states. Underline this, annexing. Why did he bring this doctrine of lapse? To annex the subordinate Indian states and bringing them under the direct rule of the company, direct rule of the company. Okay. So he brought this theory, that is the doctrine of lapse, so that he could annex all the subordinate states of India and bring those subordinate states in the direct rule of the company. Now let us understand how, because of this doctrine of lapse, the Britishers could directly control. Okay, the direct control was went into the hands of the company. Let us understand that. And to understand this, we will first have to understand what exactly was this doctrine of lapse. Here you have the definition. according to the doctrine of lapse, all the subordinate states, that means the subsidiary states. What are subsidiary states? Who will tell me first? Yes,
And the
Priyanka?
states which accepted the subsidiary alliance.
Very good. The states which accepted the subsidiary alliance, okay, the rulers. So all the subsidiary states, okay, and the states which were created by the Britishers, where the rulers, see, this is the exact definition of what exactly was there in the doctrine of lapse, okay, where the rulers died without a natural male heir, would automatically lapse, that is, pass into the hands of the British. Okay, would automatically pass into the hands of the British. Okay, now understand what exactly was this doctrine of lapse. Okay, according to this doctrine of lapse, what was the condition? That all the subordinate states, that means all the Indian rulers who had signed the subsidiary alliance system, okay, that becomes the subordinate or subsidiary state to the Britishers. Now, if at all that Indian ruler, okay, who belonged to that specific subsidiary state, okay, if he dies and if he doesn't have any son who would take up the throne after the father,
Britishers.
then in that case what will happen? It will automatically the rule will be passed into the hands of the Britishers. Got it? Understood?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, even the ruler can't adopt the son, no?
That you will understand. We will learn this in the next page. It is there. Okay. So now, without a natural male, can you see the word natural male? Okay. So this was the
Ma'am,
condition.
can I come in 1 minute? Somebody's on the door.
Yes. Yes. Sure. Have you understood what exactly was doctrine of lapse? Who will tell
Yes,
me?
ma'am.
Who will brief me?
Ma'am, yeah.
Who will brief me? Just raise your hand. What exactly was doctrine of lapse? Till here, whatever I had explained. Yes, Raj.
Ma'am, doctrine of lapse was a method that was developed by
Lord
Lord
Dalhousie.
Dalhousie, according to which all the territories that were, all the states that were under the British, and if the
not
in
states,
which the
you
ruler,
will call it as subsidiary states.
okay, subsidiary states that were under the British and whose rulers had died without a natural male hire would have to lapse the territory. That is, they have to give it to the Britishers. And also the rulers cannot adopt any sons without the permission of the company.
Of the Britishers. Okay, got it. So this is till here. You all understood now. If they do not have a natural male hire, the entire territory will automatically go into the hands of the Britishers. Now, next is what? The rulers without hires. This is the answer to your question. Rulers who are without hires could not adopt sons. Got it? Got your answer, Vivan?
Yes, ma'am, no, I read this. That's why, ma'am, I said.
Yes. So just underline this. If at all they do not have a natural male hire, they are not supposed to adopt any sons. According to the age-old Hindu and Islamic traditions, without the permission of the company. Okay. So they were not allowed to adopt any sons. Okay. So indirectly, this was as you said, this particular doctrine of lapse was formulated with what intention? With the intention of peacefully annexing the subsidiary states.
Subsidiary Indian
the most
states.
peaceful way of taking over the subsidiary states. If he is not having any natural male hire, automatically the territory will go into the hands of the Britishers, and he was not allowed even to adopt any son. Got it? Now, Dalhousie applied the doctrine of lapse to these states, which included, underline these states, only the states, Satara, Jhansi, and Nagpur. Please underline. And that is the reason we have Jhansi. What had happened in Jhansi, you will come to know in the next page. Okay. So got it? So where was this doctrine of lapse applied? In Satara, Jhansi, and in Nagpur. The families of the former rulers were pensioned off and their territories annexed. Okay. So all these rulers who belonged to Satara, Jhansi, and Nagpur, their families were given pensions, but their territories were taken away by the Britishers. All right, because they did not had a natural male hire. All right. Now, annexation of these states caused a widespread resentment among the Indian rulers and became a potent factor responsible for the outbreak of the revolt of 1857. Please underline this. Encircle the outbreak of the revolt of 1857. So because of this, there was a widespread of resentment. Okay, people were disappointed because of this particular policy. All right, and this was also a major factor which was responsible for the revolt of 1857. Okay, revolt of 1857 is the important event, because from here you will study about the freedom struggle. Okay, have you all understood till here, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
This policy also applied to titles and pensions of subordinate rulers without hires. Okay, so underline, as we have seen, Satara, Jhansi, and Nagpur, they were given, those families were given pensions, but their territories were taken away. So according to the policy, pensions were given to the subordinate rulers who do not had any hires, male hires, but the territories were taken away. This was a great blow to their pride and dignity. Therefore, Nana Sahib, underline this, Nana Sahib, the adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao II, inherited his father's personal property, but was not given the pension that had been paid to his father. Okay. So Nana Sahib became one of the important leaders of the revolt of 1857. Please underline. Dash became one of the important leaders of the revolt of 1857. Who was that person?
Nana Sahib.
Nana Sahib. Okay. So who was Nana Sahib? He was basically the adopted son of whom? Of Peshwa Bajirao II. All right. So now, being an adopted son, at least he was supposed to be given pensions. So he was not given even the pensions, and therefore he was the first person or an important person to revolt against this policy, and he was among all those important leaders who were involved in this revolt of 1857. All right. So because of doctrine of lapse, it gave rise to which revolt?
The revolt of 1857.
Revolt of 1857. Okay, that means the revolt which took in place in the year 1857. Have you all understood till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I want one person to brief me in the form of a story in your own words. Till here, what have you understood about doctrine of lapse?
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, Shreyas, go ahead.
Ma'am, doctrine of lapse was formulated by Lord Dalhousie, in which it was stated that all the subordinate states, means the states which accepted the subordinate alliance, if they do not have a natural male hire, the state will collapse, and hence it will be in hands of the British. Although the old age people,
and they were not allowed to adopt also.
Yeah, they were also not allowed to adopt a son. And after, like, when the territories was in the hand of British, the family will get the tension, and some of
territories will be taken away.
Yeah, territories will be taken away, and some of the, from this we have got to know that the states which accepted the alliance were Jhansi, Satara, Nagpur.
No, not accepted the alliance. The state whose territories were annexed by these Britishers on the basis of doctrine of lapse, it was Satara, Jhansi, and Nagpur. Right? Why? Because they did not had a natural male hire. Okay. So therefore, these were the places where they could apply the doctrine of lapse theory. All right.
Ma'am, can we tell that in other words, they are also on one of the states which accepted the
Yes, they accepted, but because of doctrine of lapse, they lost the territory. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
the ones who accepted, they did not lose. Only these were the places, these were the regions who lost their territory because of doctrine of lapse. Okay, all right. And then among them, who was the one who revolted and why?
Ma'am, it was Nana Sahib, who was the adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao too, because as it was said that the family would get the pension, but he was also not given the pension that has been paid, that was been paid by his father, due to which it led to the revolt of 1857.
Correct. And he became an important leader for among all the other leaders who were involved in the revolt of 1857 against the Britishers. Okay. That means you all understood. Everybody understood now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good, very good. Now let's see about the maladministration. This is also important. Dalhousie also annexed. I think it's time up, or there's still time.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. I will at least complete maladministration. The next topic, that is annexation of Awadh, I'll start in the next class. Okay. I'll complete this topic. Dalhousie also annexed some subordinate states on grounds of maladministration. Please underline this. On grounds of maladministration, he not just based upon doctrine of lapse, even on the basis of maladministration. So what did he do? Awadh was one such subsidiary state, which he was able to annex that state on the basis of maladministration. Okay. Even though it helped in the expansion of the British power, policies such as this created a lot of resentment among against the British. Okay. See, you cannot take away the territory just on the basis of maladministration, right? Don't you think that the people, the Indian rulers or Indians would be disappointed with the Britishers based upon this?
Of course, ma'am.
So this is just like a forceful way of taking away the territories, right? They are just trying to find any which like possible ways through which they could just take away the territories. If you do not have a natural male hire, they'll take away the territories. If you do not have a proper administrative system, they will take away the territories. So definitely there was a disappointment, okay, against the Britishers. These unjust policies would also become one of the important reasons for the revolt of 1857. So this also was one of the important causes. You know, you will get a question, what are the causes of revolt of 1857? So this was also one of the cause, isn't it? That they are taking away the territories just on the basis of maladministration. Have you all understood the maladministration? Okay, I'll stop here for today. Next topic, that is annexation of Awadh, I'll start in the next class. Okay, do you have any questions till here?
No.
No questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, everybody understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, now I think the Britishers are not that smart because they are forcing the Indian rulers.
No, why you can't say they are smart? They are smarter, and that's the reason they are, coming up with different policies just to convince the Indians and to take away the territories. They are.
That's why they become traders to rulers.
Right, that they are still taking away the territories without having even a war in a peaceful way. Right, through different policies, through their innovative policies, you can say. Okay, so let's stop here for today. No, everybody understood? Only Vivan was answering.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Ma'am, understood.
Understood? Okay. All right, all right. So let's stop here for today. Bye, everyone. Take care.